3 to see, if I'm not mistaken, who goes up against the Gilded Gladiators in their following matchup after that. It's J-Mac and Trelly, and then Doug joining us for game number 1. A lot of familiar names really on both sides. Have been following the SCC for some time. You're probably familiar with players like Malachi, with Mando Warrior, with Valo and Vi as well. Dingo Dial's a little bit, I don't want to say new on the scene, but it's been a while since we've seen Dingo Dial jump up on the side of the Storm. Look over at the Kaolin Wardens, and these are players who have been slamming the SCC for quite some time, Trelly.
Dingo's got the tech, though.
He
brought the bracer and already set it down as early as possible so we can get it back off cooldown, helping with that DPS on the back camps and the green buff, that sort of thing. Maybe just helps out their clear a little bit more. But I do want to go off on a bit of a tangent.
Go for it.
And it's that I think Thoth is one of the best last picks you can really get in this current meta. If you're holding on to your mid laner, and you know the jungle picks that absolutely dumpster Thoth are not being locked in. Fenrir comes to mind, just being able to chase him down with his dash, that sort of thing. And you know you're like, wait, I can actually pick Thoth safely here. I think this pick can be insane in the current meta. If you're able to get your Book of Thoth stacked up, the tablet online as well, it can be very deadly. His biggest issue has always been, how hard are you getting Nove? So I'm looking towards Malachi. I'm looking towards Dingo. Can they get to the backline? Will Valo be able to go as well? If not, Joshi is going to have a free game. The desk already touched on it. Look at how much setup is here for this Thoth Ultimate. And Leon, with the Windfire wheels, should just be free game. And then if Slash rotates in, and of course Oceans comes with plenty of CC, I imagine Josh is going to be having a good time.
Yeah, I mean, Naja into big burst mage ultimate on the bottom end. I mean, that's just what you call a classic Smite there. I mean, throwing back to even the OG seasons of Smite, it was Naja into a Ra, Naja into Kaolin, just some big 1,000+ damage ult when mid-late game hits. You just absolutely obliterate whoever ends up landing back on the ground with this Naja. So we'll see where Elion and Valo maybe try and put some pressure on these assassins. A couple of our sets today, we've been seeing these junglers get very active on some of these side lanes, maybe try and get in the mid and kind of getting that early pick up there. So I wonder where Elion and Valo put some of that pressure. For Elion, you're going up against this Rom and this Maui over on the side lane. CC immunity not existent for Dingo Dial outside of beads if he picks that up, or maybe like a Magi's. Mando Warrior grabbing those ones early. As is Naja, do you maybe try and put a little bit of pressure over there in that duo?
If I'm Naja, honestly, I'm probably looking towards solo just because of the way that Malachi has opted to build. The Sigil early game is not going to give you that same amount of value as level 20 upgraded Sigil does. And you can already tell Slash is winning the trades, doing plenty of damage and just getting better value early. Level 5, I'm thinking an opportunity to find a kill if you've got HP, and Valo's trying to make sure that Elion does not have that HP to make those plays. But you're right, there is still some opportunity to look towards the duo lane as well, but it's very much contingent on getting beads down. Malachi does not have the beads. He's got CC immunity, of course, but cannot just beads out of Windfire wheels as easily as you would look over towards duo lane, and you know Mando is going to be just primed and ready to click that one.
And speaking of Mando Warrior, this is not his traditional role that he plays in. When he was playing on the Anansi Weavers last season and in many seasons prior, this is a solo laner. I mean, Mando has mostly been on that right side of the map for the majority of his career.
He didn't play Warriors, though.
True. He was playing anything but Warriors. He was playing the Guardians, the Assassins. A couple times we saw the Hunters whenever those became meta. But it's been a while since I've personally seen Mando in the ADC. He did play it back in the AVGL a few seasons back. I say a few, I'm talking like 5 seasons back maybe, when like it was Medusa versus Cupid as a meta. That was kind of when Mando was essentially playing in that role. So seeing him back here at least has my eyebrow raised on how he might perform. Yeah,
he's definitely a ranked ADC player. He does like going towards it every once in a while, so not something he's unfamiliar with, and it looks like the Xibalba Storm do have some confidence in him with that role. But unfortunately, he's up against a Soul. This is what I was predicting. Will they be able to find the kill, though? Malachi, I don't think he's going to be able to live through this one. Hits the ground with very little HP, and Slash gets credit for that one. That's going to be the first blood. And this is the issue with the Sigil start. You cannot clear the waves effectively. If you are left untouched and you get to 20, you're unkillable. But smart call by the Wardens. Make sure to put down Malachi before he gets to level 20, and he's a lot easier to kill.
I start giving you the script to start writing, man, because you called that one perfectly. The Sigil Tier 1 defense sure is nice early, but easy exploitation there by Slash and Leon. That's first blood for the Kaolin Wardens, and it gets them off to a pretty roaring start immediately. 1,500 gold ahead for the Kaolin Wardens with only a single first blood kill. Some of that is coming down to those bastions that did go the way of Kaolin Wardens on the duo lane. Mando and Dingo losing both of their bastions early on just from the pressure of Tuba and Oceans. But I mean, this has just kind of been the name of the game for these Magic ADCs, especially for these Souls, man. So good at taking those down. Yeah,
Soul loves to just auto anything to keep her heat going, and turns out the bastions work really well for that, especially up against a Rama who, what's he going to do, try and out-trade you? Like, you just do not have the amount of sustain to auto-attack a Soul with full heat. With tier 1 light blade, like even tier 2 balance blade's not going to make a difference. Full Aussie, whatever. You're not going to be boxing up against Tuba, and probably for good reason. You know, you're trying to get some itemization online and look towards late game. Book of Thoth for both of the mid laners. I really would like to see a tier 1 book for both of them next. I understand anti-heal might be more on the priority here for Vi, but if Slash doesn't rotate out, you're not going to have to worry too much. But Valo beats us real early.
Does. Belly flop in, and then an ultimate right after the Intoxicate. Valo not going to be dead on landing unless Joshi is there to put in the final judgment and a second kill for the Kaolin Wardens, this time on the mid laner.
Yep, and that's just going to be easy clockwork. You get those beats down early, you know that Valo's too healthy, or I guess not healthy enough to actually escape into the wall. So you just look for that opportunity. Now Malachi could be in some trouble. Cavalry charge here, trying to find the stun, and actually finds it. I'm thinking that's a pretty easy kill.
Jump away is not going to get Malachi very far. Ring toss off the mark, but Slash has the final auto to deal the last bit of damage to the opposing solo laner. And now 2-0-1 for the Guan Yu solo Slash, part of everything for the Kaolin Wardens so far.
Yep, and now you got to worry about that tanky Guan Yu. Who's going to be providing the damage to kill him? No one at the moment, but I do think that Valo still online just fine. You know, sitting at level 7, actually does have a level lead in the jungle. Leon, who's been spending a lot of time helping out his team trying to find ganks, whereas Valo's been looking for that farm. It's been paying off so far. And Clean, I think, at the moment, with the Claw Shard, can do some great amounts of burst damage. So does have that opportunity to look for some possible ganks, maybe even towards the duo lane, because Tuba's been stepping up freely and starving the wave, like actually just not caring about clear, knowing that Mando can't fight back. So maybe looking over towards duo could be the call.
Oh, Valo did stay in the wall for a little bit, got some poke over towards Leon, but Leon able to heal that up, and now makes a rotation over towards duo. We'll just drop the shield buff, give that one over either to himself or to Oceans. Not sure which one will want to pick that one up. Seems it might just be Leon, but does he go for a gank up against this Rama? Mando is sitting at the tower line, would be a difficult one, so instead Leon and Oceans will rotate through the jungle and try and strip out anything that's still left standing within the jungle.
And Malachi finally gets some space over here at solo lane because Slash is completely out of mana. I'm curious when the objective play gets started. You know, they do have plenty of pressure throughout the map, the Kaolin Wardens, that is, throughout over in duo lane, even in solo. But Gold Fury could be burned down extremely quick. We know how much Supernova can do. Dingo uses that landfall ultimate. More is just a tool to show what it could have done if it would have connected, but it didn't, so not going to get any relics down. Just going to be, you know, wasting the cooldown for the moment. But hey, you got safety, and also no one dies at the moment, so that's going to be a plus. Blink in from Leon, also off the mark.
Well, does find the ultimate, but Final Judgment was thrown early by Joshi, so there's not a lot on landing, but Joshi still had the hieroglyphic shots after to take down Vi. Second kill now for the mid laner. A little miscommunication there between the two on the Kaolin Wardens, but they still get the job done. And maybe a little bit more as Leon finds Valo in the jungle. Valo trying to fight back. It has a lot of damage to do so. But once that veil is opened up, that is a retreat from Leon.
I would guess that Joshi predicted that Vi's beads were up because they were, and that Vi was going to beads because he could, and sent the ult anyways to, you know, say, hey, you're not going to be able to take him up, but I'll hit the ult off it. And then Vi said, joke's on you. I'm not going to beads, and I'm going to make you miss your ultimate. Still died, so great hieroglyphic assault there by Joshi, and at the very least, holds on to the beads for next time. But my heart grew two sizes as we get to see Vi and Joshi both going into what you can assume is going to be an early stack tablet. Trying to get that extra damage online. I think both of these mages proc it extremely well. They've got so much range, and these tankier targets, you can see Slash and Malachi really will be feeling it later on.
Tanky might be the right thing for Slash to at least be called right now.
Well,
2 items into the build. 2 levels up over Malachi, so some of even just those base stats that come through, the base prots and the base HP in favor of Slash for now. But you are right, it is a slow start for Malachi. I imagine it will be quite a bit of defense built into the kit up against for him. But now what will the Xibalba Storm to do to somewhat answer back here? Because Kaolin Wardens have been dictating the pace of this game so far. 3,000 gold lead up for them, just about, for the Chaos side team. And it feels like all this aggression has just been played around the mid and the right side of the map, where most of those leads have been occurred at least. Joshy up 2, Slash up about a level and a half. A pick on Oceans would be great for the Xibalba Storm, but Landfall not going to be thrown out by Dingo.
Yeah, the burp was channeled. Oceans knew he couldn't get knocked up as long as that was happening, and I think what really happened was once Vi hit the full Primordial Onslaught and no damage occurred, they're like, okay, this is a dead kill. We're not going to be able to go in. Looks like a possible chill onto Dingo, and some good CC being popped. This could be a nice scrap, but where's the kill going to fall?
Oh, the Valo went invisible to a few. He's able to squeak out. Dingo doesn't have that same luxury. He grabs one with the ultimate, but it's a killing spree for Joshy. Vi on the run, Valo only escaping because of the stealth that connected to 2 different players. Joshy missing out on that route means that Vi should get to live through. But unfortunate for Dingo, he is the one who pays the price.
Yeah, but beads down there for Valo. This Kleena could be under some fire if Leon decides to use that ult offensively, but actually uses it defensively, ults out, and Vi still goes down because this is a 4-0 Thoth. And yeah, Joshy's pumping out some serious numbers. You got to watch out for this damage. And this is what I was talking about. Last pick Thoth can be so deadly because you're not drafting for it. Thoth is a god that if left to free cast, will hard carry a game. If no one looks at this character, Joshy will just carry the game. And it doesn't seem like they have too much immediate dive until much later on once this Kaolin starts to rotate in. And the Kaolin Wardens are definitely benefiting from it.
The Kaolin Wardens to start out this hot in game number 1. At least going to put some question marks now for the Xibalba Storm as the rest of this game goes through. I mean, we're 11 minutes in. It's a 4,000 gold lead for the Wardens and still growing at the pace that they're making. I mean, look at what Elion and Oceans are doing. They've foregone standing in a lane for farm. They are traversing the jungle to find any of these. Maybe the roaming harpies, a red buff, or even potentially just a fight. Flop on a Dingo dial just to buy some space for Oceans and Elion to get out. Both Veils at least used by Valo during that skirmish, but look at the health of the tier 1 tower. Vi doesn't have much of a lifeline left in this T1.
Doesn't. I saw Slash started to rotate over. Didn't decide to complete that rotation, just gonna go back for the wave, but I'm thinking it's about time we see a Gold Fury pull here. I mean, you have uncontested confirm with Supernova or Final Judgment, take your pick. The snipes from Mando could be troubling if you don't time it right, but again, you can time all of your DPS and just make sure to go for it. You got some time before you got to worry about Pyro, so I'm thinking that should be what's being had here, but maybe just wanting Slash to get some magic defense online could be the call so far. Went for the breastplate of regrowth into the Glad Shield. Doesn't quite have that next item, the Oni Hunters or the Genjis, whichever one you really want on the Guan Yu. After that, maybe then you're feeling a little bit more confident about the rotation in from the Guan Yu over to objective and actually make the pull. But still, the Wardens have been pushing their lead so far at this point. The only thing they have to do now is to actually make a pull on an objective.
An objective not to be had just yet. We will see a small skirmish, at least over by the shield buff. Joshy, level 14. Up until just now when Slash procced over to the same level, Joshy was sitting top farm on the map, is back there with the confirmation of the camps to put him over to level 15 now on the Thoth. And at 4-0, Tablet started up. Only has what looks to be about 7 stacks on it for now. Hasn't really gotten too much extra poke with it just yet, but even still, the fact that he's 3 levels up and has felt like he's just gone unfazed the entirety of this game. Only one moment where he really took any serious damage in an early 2v2, but since then, it has been all Joshy all day.
Yeah, I'm going to keep my eyes on the relics as Mando takes a ton of damage, and here comes that Naja. Both relics available. Mando plays it well. Dash actually doesn't even have to beads, but you're dropping down into a kill, surely.
Who's you going to give the kill to is going to be Elion and Tuba. They both won, and Elion doesn't get the dash. The lifesteal is going through. Mando's stunned,
what?
And he lives through for a moment, but Oceans has come back through, needs to use the damage to take him down, and Valo not able to find the kill onto Tuba or Elion, so it's a double kill for Oceans. The support of the Kaolin Wardens gets to feast the benefits for what the rest of his team had started.
And now tier 1 tower in left is starting to be looked at. I am absolutely amazed that how long Mando actually lived there. Beautiful relic timing. Unfortunately for Leon, a little bit too early there. And now tier 2 starting to be looked at. Where's the rest of the team? Malachi pushing right. And it looks like Vi will be able to grab the tier 1. It's going to be close. Another wave will come through. But finally, Gold Fury gets to be looked at as well. Trying to deal with some of that gold, but losing a tier 2 on top of a Fury. Unless, of course, yeah, no, there's no one that's getting here in time. Before 15 minutes, that's going to be some big spikes in your favor. Smart call here by the Storm, though. Grab the consolation prize, the Pyromancer, and that Runic Bomb could stop a bit of the aggression here from the Wardens if they look towards a Fire Giant.
Could also maybe assist if you want to go for a split push, that extra damage to the towers. Going to be very potent if you decide to make a play for that. But unfortunately for the Xibalba Storm, not many towers they can really go for at the moment. They've lost both of theirs in the dual lane. They've lost their mid tier 1 as well. I'm not sure you want to solo push up a mid tier 2, even if you are Malachi at this point on the Kaolin. In the right lane, might feel to be a little out of the question. So then, they pose the question for the Xibalba Storm, where do they make their stand, Joe? I mean, they lost the fight in left. Because of that, they lost the Gold Fury. They took a Pyromancer. Do you step up to the Fire Giant should the Kaolin Wardens try and make a pull towards it?
It's very early, so I would say the first one you definitely don't have to. With Blink, though, Malachi could blink in, drop the bomb, ult, and try and run away. It's a possibility. Definitely getting chased down with the amount of CC that the Wardens have. And now Valo in some big trouble here. He's trying to use the Aegis. Goodbye. You are not using that Mystical Allure to get out. Unfortunate, but like I said, so much lockdown in CC. Take a look at Tuba. Not on the left side of the map, over on the right, trying to grab tower. The aggression will not cease.
Yeah, it looks like it's a 4-man collapse towards Malachi, but Malachi will be able to get himself out. Lose out on his tier 1 tower for even rotating towards that fight, because Tuba decided not to be a part of the jungle. Instead, went for the tower himself, and will now group up. And man, with that glyph, so much extra damage to the tower. Ultimate from Dingo. Not going to pull Tuba. It's a quick beads from the soul to get himself out of danger. But a 9-0 start for the Kaolin Wardens. A 7,500 gold lead so far, and maybe escalating even more so. Valo is in the wall, but surrounded on nearly all sides. Where is his escape path even at this point? I think it's, you just got to go away if you can. We'll drop 2 of the Veils, get some damage out, and we'll use 1 to dash away. But Slash up on the horse will charge right in, finds the double stun, and gets the beads off the jungler.
Yeah, but the fight is still going on here underneath this tower. The Wardens want a little bit more. Beautiful double knockup, but not too much follow-up as the snipes rain true, but not doing enough damage as well. This tier 2 should fall down. And Malachi transforms again. That's the second time this fight.
But he's going away as far as he can. Elion takes him up into the sky, and on landing, this should be a dead Kaolin. The credit goes to Tuba for the kill, but the setup by the rest of the team and Elion to find the pick and make it 10-0 for the Kaolin Wardens. And what seems to be on their mind next, with mostly healthy HP bars, Fire Giant on the mind of the Wardens.
At some point, you gotta say, I think this one is looking rough, you know? And I think that fight may have been the actual stamp of maybe we can't do anything, because that was quite a long dance around a tier 2 tower, which, I mean, you get 2 Kaolin Rage transformations off from the Xibalba Storm. They just don't have enough damage to back up the CC here. Unfortunate, but now the Wardens are able to siege backwards, spend up some of that gold, because that was a long fight, and then look to see what they want to do next. I mean, at this point, it's going to be Oni Fury spawning in here shortly, and they've got plenty of time to play this one slowly. The Thoth still doing plenty of damage. I think this Naja has been extremely impactful, part of all but 2 kills so far in this game, and Oceans has been part of all but 1, so looking like a very good game, just support style here for the Wardens, getting their carries ahead. It doesn't seem like, besides, I guess, Mando in this case, everyone else is looking at quite the deficit. Mando's only down 1 level, which could be worse.
Definitely could be worse. About a level and a half for Slash over Malachi, but reflecting the build is the full item up for this Guan Yu. And for now, the Kaolin Wardens, with their Fire Giant, going to move over towards the Oni Fury. They'll still have the Fire Giant buff for about 3 minutes. How much more can they go with? Slash is going to keep Dingo and Vi from just taking this Pyromancer, something where at least the Runic Bomb in the last team fight was used by Malachi. Would have fooled me if it actually was, because it felt like it did absolutely nothing to the Kaolin Wardens, even in terms of potential disruption. So instead, Fury on the left side of the map for the Wardens, and they'll start marching up the left lane as well. It's Slash and Elion who have deviated away from their team and instead will be the ones to take the Pyromancer unless Fallow decides to sneak up, but Fallow immediately backs himself back towards the rest of the team.
It was the 2 sets ago where me and you were casting and I brought up how fun Breastplate of Regrowth Bacchus is.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad Oceans gets to have that fun.
He heard you saying, he goes, you know what, that does sound cool,
like,
Trelly.
That does sound pretty nifty. Maybe I can just slam second item Regrowth, just pop my chug and run around the map, CCing everyone. He did have the Horn Shard and the Cloak of the Ascetic as well, so had plenty of cooldown resets. Unfortunately, at level 12, you're supposed to sell it, and it was picked up for the whole bracer, so plenty of support, plenty of damage, plenty of CC coming the way of this Bacchus. Keep your eyes on Oceans. Usually is a pretty solid engage, and of course Slash is there just in case that poke starts to add up.
Elion even going for defense second slot. A regrowth for him, a regrowth for Oceans, and one for Slash as well. There's a lot in that team. Ultimate from Dingo pulls back Elion, but that's probably exactly where Elion wants to be. He's taken Malachi to the sky, but there's not a lot of damage from the Naja just yet. Elion still in the Phoenix will be dropped down as he's stuck around for way too long under the turret. But it's just going to be too much damage from the Xibalba Storm. The Kaolin Wardens will have to back away after losing their first body.
Yeah, it didn't seem like they wanted to use too many ultimates there onto Malachi, which makes sense. This Kaolin is getting much tankier as the game continues. So unfortunately, they will just have to back off after that one. But all towers on the map are gone there for the Wardens. They get the mid-Phoenix a little bit weak. I would say just fine for them. It still is very early on. We're only 20 minutes into the game, and they are about to get a second opportunity out of Fire Giant. So I would say if the first one doesn't net a Phoenix, you're not too upset about that. Giving the first death of the game away is a little unfortunate, but the good news is there was no kill streak on Leon. He was 0-0.
He was all assists.
Yeah, he was all assists, so you're getting no shutdown gold in that regard. And just waiting for your teammate to spawn back in, and the Wardens can look once again towards that Fire Giant. What does the Xibalba Storm do in the meantime? Commando Warrior, prioritizing some farm on the left side of the map, is going to have to head over soon if he wants to defend. It looks like might just decide to farm. I mean, letting your Rama go and say, hey, you guys can go for the steal or not, it still is a 22-minute Fire Giant. We're not looking at EFG territory just yet.
Not quite. Be a little while, about 8 minutes before those are available. Well, now that Mano's got the crit, he can go ahead and take those Bastions. Clear up some additional gold for his team before working at the Tier 1 tower, but the Kaolin Warden's answer to that is send Elion by himself to the right side Phoenix, while the rest of the Kaolin Wardens go ahead and take the Fire Giant for themselves. Elion not needed there for the damage at the objective. Instead, it'll be the second fire of the game for the Kaolin Wardens, and they can start their push once more. Mid-Phoenix at half HP. The Kaolin Wardens spreading themselves out, and even a few of them going back to base. I assume to pick up a couple of big power spikes. Tuba, in fact, has gone back. Polynomicon now online for the soul.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about early on as well. When you have these magical ADCs and they're not Chronos, you usually want to get something like the Poly or incredible amounts of attack speed to make your sieges a bit easier. And in this case, I think Soul with Polynomicon and the Diamond Arrow is going to make these Phoenixes die much, much faster. You can't really count on these, you can't count on Leon getting all the way towards the Phoenix for auto attack damage, and we know Joshi won't be doing too much unless he's got the glyph down to get those enhanced autos. And that's probably why the Xibalba Storm feel at least a little bit confident, because they know how the last siege went. Their Phoenix is already healing up, and they were never really under any fire for losing that bird. But now, one more attempt. The Wardens are going to push down left. I'm looking at relics. We're going to have Naja beads up at about 5. The only one they're missing on the side of the Storm is that blink initiation from the Kaolin, but Malachi will do just fine. He's already got his rage stacked up. One ult should get him a transform.
You start to see some of these extra damage procs come through from the Kaolin Wardens mid. Dingo goes with the ult, but this time doesn't pull anybody back. Immunities across the board to keep themselves from being yanked back by the Maui. And he pushed still towards the left side. Without minions there, it's going to take the Kaolin Wardens a moment before they can push in. Elion separating himself once more, 4 levels up over Valo. Going towards mid. Veil will clear out one of those waves. Malachi goes in. Ocean's being pulled back by Dingo, down a lot of damage on this Bacchus. And a call back in for Dingo, but stops his dash a little bit shy. And Joshi still full HP on this Thoth, undeterred, continues the poke.
Yeah, that Phoenix is getting real low, though. The Thoth does go through, but a beautiful knockup from Malachi. Will they try to chase him out once again, taking up to the sky?
Elion grabs him. Malachi should be definitely one more hit on landing. It's Tuba to drop him down, and the left side bird to follow alongside it. Now with a weakened mid Phoenix from their siege earlier on, the Kaolin Wardens can move over towards mid. Valo with a quarter of his HP missing, not in any real position to go for a full defense yet.
Yeah, and it looks like spreading out. You know the cleanup beads are down, so Leon's fine with trying to take that 1v1 as the 4v3 is happening in mid lane. Good crit as well, big damage, and it looks like the egg is going to have to be used.
But with no Aegis now, that is easy targets for Slash. He will charge right in and take out the jungler. Dingo finds a stun only on Oceans. Midbird gone. Much like the health bars of Dingo and Vi, just not enough damage from the Supernova from Tuba to take either of them out. It'll be a 3 Phoenix wipe. 2 down.
They're going in.
Malachi back up in a second though. Health bar starting to get a little bit low. Oceans goes in but finds the kill on Vi. Dingo barely swings out. Elion wants that kill, finds the sass, takes him down, and Mando Warrior back into the fountain. And the Kaolin Wardens in just 25 minutes will walk up. They may get one extra kill just for the extra benefit, but they will take out the Titan for game number 1.
Clean play throughout. They had a very clear initiative. They knew, hey, we've got a ton of CC. Let's group up together in the jungle, build an early lead. Took a little bit longer than I would have liked to actually pull that Gold Fury, but confidence throughout, right? They're like, hey, we have Slash. He can rotate through when we need him. He's already 2-0. We don't have